wonders just where she can turn. She stares at her coffee and looks towards the ceiling. Lord, what a strange place to pray. At 2 in the morning on Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The waitress, Darlene, she sits at the counter, painting her fingernails blue. And the short order cook yells, "Move it or lose it! Come get this order of stew!" But someday, a rich, handsome man will come and take her far, far away from Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The junkie. He's standing outside the glass, shaking so hard he can't stand. There's a Saturday night special deep in his pocket, and the pearl handle sweats in his hand. But there's too much light and too many people, and the leaf is still 12 bucks away. You won't find answers at 2 in the morning at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. There's an old wooden sign hidden under the counter. It's been there for 17 years. It says, "Jim and Rosalie's Home Country Cooking." And the paint's dried and peeled like her tears. And Rosalie's planning on heaving it out in the alley one of these days. But it ain't hurt nothing this Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. Old Louie, he's limping from table to table asking, "Hey, what can you use? I got wristwatches, diamond ring, fur coats, and stack films. No reasonable offer if used. I got 2 kids in college, a wife in the hospital, and also 1 foot in the grave. How about a transistor? Or a watch for your sister?" At Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. There's a bus driver cussing his old burned-out Greyhound, working on his 2nd beer. He's got a daughter lives here in this town. And it's been almost 10 years. And she's probably married with kids grown. And then what would he say? "Come down and meet your daddy here at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe." Now old Crazy Annie, she's reading the poem of that tall, skinny girl in the fur. "There's a man and a home and 3 beautiful children just waiting for you." The girl starts to laugh. Now she's starting to scream, and they might have to take her away. From 2 in the morning on Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The blonde-haired pretender, she's fixing her eyelash in the mirror, laughs in her hand. She'll glance around the room with the smile of a woman, then cuss with the voice of a man. From young football hero to old midnight queen, he's sure come a long, lonesome way. At 2 in the morning on Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The toothless old wino, he starts into shouting, "You don't know how lucky you are! That damn VA hospital pretty near killed me! Hey, who wants to look at my scar?" He stares around the room, picks up an old broom, and starts sweeping the weekend away. There's a songwriter promising Miss Ballerina that he's going to write her a play. The sweet college girl's asking Rosalie's kid. She knows where to score some cocaine. The speeding truck driver tells the sleepy cab driver they ought to trade jobs for the day. But Nettie the cop, he keeps his eye on the hippie while the junkie just shuffles away. Old Crazy Annie, she's asking them all, "Have you called your mama today?" And the weightlifter's telling the baby-faced Sarah that he's got a beautiful face. The short order cook tells the rodeo cowboy he'll outride his butt any day. Eddie the cop, he's looking around yelling, "Hey, who owns a Blue Chevrolet?" And the bus driver's telling the young ballerina she can ride free to LA. Rosalie's asking the shaggy-haired hippie if he's got a warm place to stay. The short order cook takes the 5 from the till while Rosalie's looking away. And the onions are frying, the neon is bright, and the jukebox continues to play. And it's 2 in the morning on Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe.
You see them lying on the ground, find them in the seat of your couch. They're lost in junk drawers. They clutter up women's coin purses. They're around us everywhere, yet most of us don't even give them a second thought. If you haven't already guessed, it's the penny I'm talking about. Not only are we surrounded by the penny literally, but also figuratively in our language. Someone who's tight with their money is a penny pincher, and something expensive may cost you a pretty penny. And Ben Franklin has often quoted this: "A penny saved is a penny earned." The But is this still true in today's society? When you see a penny on the ground, do you stop and pick it up? Well, I don't, and neither do most of my peers. Today's new generation of consumers prefers instead that small piece of plastic. We would rather keep our pennies in odd containers around our homes gathering dust than in the bank gathering interest. Why then, with all of this disinterest in the penny, does the U.S. Mint even continue to mint them? Well, I propose that we abolish the penny. Today I'm going to give you a brief history of the penny, explore the value of the penny, and then tell you why the penny should be abolished. The first cent to be minted was the Washington cent of 1783. The word cent, meaning hundred, was suggested by Revolutionary War patriot Governor Morse. Through the years, pennies have seen a great deal of change. The first pennies weighed 3 grams and contained 95% copper. Today's pennies weigh 2,500 grams and contain 95% copper. From 1856 to 1858, the Flying Eagle cent was minted. 1859 was the year of the Indian head. Then from 1860 to 1909, a new Indian head was produced. From 1909 to 1959, the Lincoln head was minted, followed by the Lincoln head currently in circulation today. Well, the penny of today may weigh more than earlier pennies, but it certainly buys you less. Today, you're lucky to find anything you can buy with a penny. A penny may buy you a small Tootsie Roll. 3 pennies may buy you a piece of gum, but that's about it. Years ago, there was a variety of different items you could purchase with a penny, including candy, stickers, pencils, stamps, and other items. And then there was the penny arcade. Do you know how many pennies it takes to play a game at today's arcade? Even waitresses, as myself, consider an insult to be given pennies as a tip, and some people have even been known to throw pennies away. Well, with so little to buy with a penny, and so few people who even want them, no wonder we keep them in odd containers around our home. In fact, so many pennies today are being hoarded in people's homes that there is a national acute penny shortage. The Treasury has pleaded with people to release them. Some banks have even offered up to $1.10 per 100 to get them back. The U.S. Mint estimates that there are 129 billion pennies in circulation today. This estimate would mean that there are 524 pennies for every person in the United States. Yet in 1995, 13.6 billion new pennies were produced. And the life of all of those pennies? Well, a coin can circulate and last up to 20 years. There are many other reasons that support the abolishment of the penny. The idea is appealing for many reasons and is not a new one. Many important figures in the U.S. Coin Coalition and U.S. Mint strongly support the idea of the abolishment of the penny. The U.S. Mint also estimates that there are 16 billion coins produced every year, and 13 billion of those coins are pennies that are left lying in the street, taking up too much space in the cash register drawer, and being a nuisance. There are many other important reasons that support this idea. 1, pennies can't be used in most coin-operated machines. 2, more and more transactions today are done electronically, which eliminates the need for cash to change hands anyhow. And 3, many businesses, particularly convenience stores and fast food restaurants, also strongly support the idea. Businesses say that time is money, and dealing with pennies takes up too much time. An average employee spends 2 seconds per transaction dealing with pennies. If that employee makes 10 billion transactions a year, that's 5.5 million lost hours. And if that same employee makes $4 an hour, that's $22 million in lost productivity. Should the penny be abolished? 2 questions remain. 1, what will be done in the retail business? And 2, what should we do with all of those pennies? Well, first of all, in the retail business, the U.S. Mint advocates rounding all final after-tax payments to the nearest nickel. Non-cash payments wouldn't change. And 2, what are we to do with all of those pennies? Well, last year, the A Penny for AIDS effort collected over $600,000 worth of pennies going towards AIDS research. Last year, The Pennies from Heaven Drive also collected over $14,000 worth of pennies going towards victims of the Oklahoma City bombing. Your local Salvation Army will also take in pennies. Today we've looked at the history of the penny, the value of the penny, and why the penny should be abolished. It's time for the penny to join the ranks of the $500, $1,000, and $10,000 bills as extinct currency. It's time for us to become penniless. After all, it just makes sense.
Last August, I excitedly began what I knew would be a memorable senior year. My vision for my senior year included successes as both a student and as an athlete. But in December, I was forced to change that vision. So what happened? The same thing that happened to 190,000 other people last year, according to Time magazine. I tore my anterior cruciate ligament, or ACL. Now, I've embarked on a new journey down a new path. And along the way, I have gained much knowledge on ACL injuries and would like to share some today. First, I will talk about the causes of ACL injuries. Next, the treatment and recovery process. And finally, the mental side effects. So what happened? The same thing that happened to 190,000 other people, as I said. I was in a basketball game, and I jumped up to block a shot. When I landed, I twisted my knee, which is one of the two ways that you can tear your ACL. The other is by hyperextending the knee, or straightening it beyond its limitations. But of course, basketball isn't the only way you can tear your ACL. Small children who grow too rapidly for their bones and ligaments might tear by falling at recess one day. And anybody can tear by accidentally slipping on ice. The interesting fact about ACL injuries is that it happens to women 3 to 4 times more than men, according to a study by Dr. Elizabeth Arden. My senior class is a perfect example of this statistic. I'm the 4th person out of the class of 47 who has torn my ACL. Out of us 4, only 1 has been a guy. Now, there are many theories on why ACL injuries are more common in females than men, even though the doctors will agree that they're not 100% sure why. One theory puts a notch at the bottom of the femur, or thigh bone, from which the ACL runs. In women, the notch is more narrow than men. Other theories include that women tend to have wider hips or less muscle mass. Once you have injured your knee in any physical activity, visiting a doctor's office is recommended if you felt or heard a pop or experienced pain and swelling. Here, the doctor may conduct one of 3 tests to see if the ACL is torn or not, with a 90% accuracy. The first test the doctor may conduct is a Lachman test, which was tested on me. The doctor can use this test or a Bowden's test, which is similar, to check for any abnormal looseness or forward movement in the knee by only using his hands. The third type of test the doctor may conduct is taking a needle drawing fluid from the knee. If the fluid is red, then the ligament is torn. Once you've been notified that you have indeed torn your ACL, you have a few options to look at. If you never plan on being physically active again, you may choose not to have surgery. But this isn't recommended because it causes premature arthritis. However, if you do plan on engaging in physical activities later on in life, you will need to have surgery. The most common type of surgery is reconstruction, which I had. First, the doctor takes an orthoscope to see what is all the damage in the knee. Next, 2 holes are drilled into your bone, and the torn ligament is replaced with a tendon from your kneecap. The other kind of surgery a doctor may conduct is by replacing the torn ligament with a ligament from a cadaver. After the first couple of weeks of surgery, the surgeon may require the use of a continuous passive motion machine, or CPM, to help regain your mobility in the knee. I was required to use my CPM machine 8 hours a day for 2 hours at a time. This meant having either my mom or my dad waking me up at 4:30 before school so that they could lift my leg into the machine, since I didn't have the muscle mass to lift it on my own. After the machine was taken away, however, physical therapy plays a major role in the rehabilitation process. Physical therapy is where you train your leg muscles to lift and walk all over again, and they use an electric stimulation machine to help regain this muscle loss. The electric stimulation machine sends electric pulses and helps you contract your muscles. Once physical therapy is over, the surgeon will normally release you to play normal sports once again, as long as you wear an orthopedic brace. Of course, ACL injuries can affect your mind as well as the knee, since Most people experience depression at one point in time. My depression came from the fact that I'm a senior. And knowing that I didn't get to play that sub-state basketball game. I didn't get to perform that senior drill team dance.